here I am now. It's amazing.
Anybody else? Yes. We'll get you back in the back in a minute. Yes.
Just off the wall. Have any of y'all worked in the United States on the movie? Or?
The question is, has any of you worked in the United States on projects?
Well, what happens really now is that you guys come over and shoot films in Britain because it's so much cheaper. So actually I haven't, but my son has. He was in a movie called Now You See Me Too last year. He played young Ruffalo. Yeah, he did a really good job. But again, you know, they filmed over in England because we're cheap. Much cheaper than American actors.
We have a show.
Off the wall. I've worked in the United States. I've done movies that were shown in the United States.
No, me neither. I've never done anything in the States, professionally wise.
We had a show, Walking Dead, where a lot of your actors over in your country are here in Georgia producing the show.
I have a question in the back there. Somebody had their hand up. Yeah.
Alright, so obviously Dr. Who's been through like a lot of writers and a lot of actors. So what do you think has been the biggest change, like since the beginning, the biggest change in Doctor Who?
Okay, the biggest change in Doctor Who since the beginning.
Well, when Who came back under Russell, there were I'd say two major changes. One is it was decently funded and given good effects, but also it had ceased to be a serial. Like when I was doing it, it was 3 and 4 parters. When you guys were doing it, it was 6 or 8 parters. But now you occasionally get a 2-parter, but basically it's a single self-contained story each week, and that's a big difference.
Well, the main difference that I found in the new and the old Doctor Who is rehearsal time. We always used to meet on a Monday morning in a rehearsal room, and the floor was laid out for the set. And we'd sit down, we'd have coffee, we'd read the script, and then we'd start blocking, and then we'd start moving around, and we did this for a week, and then we went into the studio. Then we had about a day's camera rehearsal, and then we shot it in the evening. Today, now, you get a party Doctor Who, as I did when I did it with David Tennant and Billy Piper. We were taken up to Cardiff, and you have a predetermined character in your mind that you're trying to work on, because you don't have time to work with the other actors to see what they're going to do, what they're going to say, the way they're going to move, are they going to do this, are they going to do that. You glean something from every actor you work with, and that's the way it works. You get it works very well between some actors. But now you don't get that. It's just done very, very quickly, and I just miss the rehearsal time, I really do.
Yeah, because the rehearsal time is where you're experimenting with your character, and you're also developing relationships with the other characters, and you can really bring some kind of amazing stuff if you have time to rehearse. But now you just have to literally. A friend of mine who does a lot of movies and fantastic, she's a wonderful actress, and she did a film a few years ago with Viggo Mortensen, and she flew over to I don't know, the Ukraine or somewhere, wherever they were filming, or Eastern Europe somewhere. And she was playing his wife, and the very first scene, you know, she got her makeup on and went onto the set where he was, and sort of shook his hand slightly nervously and said, "Oh, how'd you do? Yeah, great." And the director said, "Okay, so let's go for it," and went straight into this sort of tongue kiss clinch with him. You know, before they only just sort of shook hands, and they were having to do this passionate scene together. And it's very hard.
I have a question for Andrew. Had you been around another 2 or 3 years, because everybody knows about the master plan and all of that, talk about changes in the show, give us 2 or 3 things you would have liked to have done with the show that maybe would not have been in the direction that it ended up going.
Well, I think we were tending in the direction of it, because Russell kind of did definitely follow on our game plan, which was great. But what? Well, get rid of Sophie for a start, obviously. No, but at some point we would have had to refresh the companion, change the companion, so we would have had a new companion come in. And we sort of had a notion of somebody, a posh cat burglar, was what we were going to go for. And the other big thing that I always wanted to do was just keep bringing on new writers. Because that was always my thing. And the final thing I'd say would be, I should have written some myself.
Okay, anybody?
Yes, the little.
Who is your guys' favorite enemy?
What's your favorite enemy?
Got to be the Daleks. It's an obvious choice, but I can't beat it.
I can beat them.
Favorite enemy, the British Tatman. I think it was probably the Cybermen for me because they were tall. There was no emotion at all. The Irish boys, you always see this kind of humanoid bottom lip talking, but the Cybermen just that sort of dead eyes. I think it was the Cybermen for me.
Yeah, I think the Cybermen as well. I mean, I worked with both the Doctor's most iconic enemies, which of course were the Daleks and the Cybermen. But the Cybermen were, very, very scary. They were big blokes in them, and especially when one got hold of me and slung me across the studio, and that was the end of me. But yeah, I think the Cybermen.
Was that the modern Cybermen?
Yeah.
The robot ones? Because obviously our Cybermen were worse because they wore rubber boots, sprayed, so they could creep up behind you and go, "Brr." The modern ones go,
Yeah.
well, you hear them coming that way, you let it out.
Coming from mine. Here I'm coming from mine.
Sneak up, go, "Arr," and grab you.
I agree. Yeah, when I was young, my mum had to stop me watching Doctor Who because I was afraid of the Cybermen. I was getting nightmares, and and it was those ones with the mouth that just like opened and that noise.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I think the more humanoid they are, the scarier somehow because they're kind of like us, but they're devoid of emotion. Yeah, I think, and that's really, in a way, the scariest thing a human being can be, isn't it? Sort of no emotions. So yeah, the Cybermen for me, and then, of course, when we were doing a Cyberman story, I was just so delighted. And our producer, what's he called, Carol? Production assistant, yeah. He was in charge of casting them, and he went to a model agency, and because they all had to be over 6 foot and kind of big guys. So he went to a model agency and cast all these models, male models. So I suddenly wasn't afraid of them anymore. It was fantastic therapy for me.
I just rounded up, down and out, and turned straight into Cybermen. It was simple. Problem solved.
Yep.
Okay. What villain did you not get to go against that you, in all continuity of Doctor Who, would you love to go against? It could be modern or classic.
I think for me it would be the Sontarans. I think I love Dan Starkey. Which villain that you didn't get to go up against? Or the Weeping Angels.
Missy. I'd like to have a go with Missy.
Yeah, but
And she's Scots as well.
are we talking about the same thing?
And she's Scots. I'd take her down and play that to you. I got my duck out.
Well, I had enough trouble with the Cybermen, so I can't think of one. Maybe what was he? Dan Starkey, who plays the not Centaur, is it?
Sontaran.
Sontaran, that's one. Yeah, no,
Really sorry. I was a head kind of fella.
Yeah, I was just wanted to know your experiences working on the Big Finish audios, and can you tell us any experiences like working out there? I would just like to hear more than
Experiences
behind.
on Big Finish.
Well, the strongest experience for me was I hadn't worked up with Sylvan Sophie for decades, and then I wrote a series for Big Finish, and we sat down in the studio, and you guys were in the control in the booths, and I began to read the scripts, and it was like those years just dropped away. It was like no time at all had passed. It was a wonderful feeling.
You've never written any that I've been in, have you?
That's in my contract.
Oh, is it? All right. No, I love doing the Big Finish because I played in 2 parts. And I always say to David Richardson, the producer, I said, if Patrick was alive today, he'd say, yeah, it'd be lovely, he'd be the next booth. I said, you'd have to pay him, wouldn't you? He said, Fraser, I'm not paying you 2 fees. So I say, well, I get paid for doing Jamie, and I do Patrick's voice for nothing to keep his voice alive for the fans. And that's what I do.
And I love the pictures when you're dressed up as Patrick.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
when you, with the cosplay, or I don't guess it's cosplay in your world, but
No, Big Finish productions are great. I've not done many, but they are great fun to do. And I think that most actors that do a Big Finish production is the food. They do supply some lovely, lovely food.
These are sound recorders, Toby, and one is recording and he's making these wonderful salads and salmon and steaks.
Colin.
Yeah, beautiful.
okay, any more? Let's have a couple more real quick.
I have a question for Sophie, actually.
Okay.
What room are you in?
Fourth floor.
Well, you know, since I'm now married to this morning,
Actually, that's very similar. I was in Montreal with Sarah Sutton, and she was doing a panel, and did a questions, and the microphone went around, and this boy said, Miss Sutton, I'm very taken with you. You're very, very attractive, and perhaps we would have dinner tonight. And she went, yes, well, that's very. Yes, well, I'm not sure. I just know what. Who am I speaking to? I said, it's Fraser. She said, oh, you know. She said afterwards, I'm thinking there's a man's hitting on me. This Canadian bloke is hitting on me. What do I say? I can't say no. And she said, little nasty.
well, we look forward to more interesting panels tomorrow. Fraser, we look forward to your show tonight. We'll start up at 7:30. Fraser will be doing his a little bit later on. We have a couple of opening things going on. And some other things are happening tonight. It's a busy night tonight. Karaoke and dancing and...
Fraser show.
Bring a beer and then you can sing along, because it's a sing-along show as well. I talk about all these tunes and you know most of them, like the Monkees and Tom Jones and people like that. You know most of the songs.
I do want to ask you one question. You talked about singing with Tom Jones. How did that happen?
I was in a nightclub. It was very hot at the time, up in Doctor Who days, and I was on a nightclub with PJ Proby and Tom Jones, and we were having a drink, and then Tom said, oh, I've got to sing this song, and Jim Proby said, oh, come on, Fraser, let's come out and do it. Oh, yeah. And Tom said, yeah, I'll come and sing with you. So for years I was telling people about singing with Tom Jones and PJ Proby, and they went, yes, Fraser, of course you did. Yes, Fraser, of course you did. Of course. Then I had a charity concert in Leeds about 3 years ago, and Jim Proby was on the bill, and I was doing a little thing, and they said, right, it's the finale now, we're all going to come on stage, and we're all going to sort of join in and sing a big song with the Manfred, the big pop group. And Jim Proby went, Fraser, Hines, you and I sang with Tom Jones in the Bizarre Club in England in 1969. And I went, see everybody, I was right.
Well, the truth is, Tom Jones goes around and brags about singing with Fraser Hines. So, well, thank you, panel. If you give them a nice round of applause. I don't want to give away any secrets. I do understand that Sophie wants to go to the mall. Is that correct? All of our guests end up going shopping while they're here, Cracker Barrel or something like this. So, yeah, bring extra suitcases. So I tell you what you do, if you want to hang around a couple of minutes, we're going to draw for a few of our Humane Society prizes. You must be present to win. So we're going to bring a few things in. Panel, have a nice evening. Fraser, we'll see you on stage in a little while.
Thanks, all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.